This is the biggest mistake that you're making as a sportswear brand building the product photos that you have online. Because a great product photo isn't just about hiring the best model, the cleanest setup, the best lighting. A great product photo doesn't just show customers what a product is, it tells customers what a product does and who they'll be wearing it. That's what actually creates the difference between a product that catches attention and a product that drives conversions. And your imagery is the number one way as a D2C brand that you're going to be able to get into your customers' attention and then to motivate them to make a transaction with you. So in today's episode, we're going to look at why the majority of brands are making fundamental mistakes in their product photography, whether it's their studio images or their lifestyle photography, and how you as a startup or even an existing brand can actually avoid those same mistakes, and what your photos should be doing and what story they should be telling about your brand. That way, whether you have them on your Instagram, whether you have them on your website, you're actually driving customers to take an action, not just window shopping and then forgetting about you the next day. So how to do this? This is exactly what we're going to be discussing in today's episode. Without further ado, my name is Shadi Adada. I am the founder and creative director of FittDesign, the world's first sportswear design agency. And over the last 10 years, we've worked with thousands of brands to help them go from an idea to a physical product. And the number one thing that I've learned through that time is the value of telling a story through your product photography. And how do we do this? Well, this is exactly what we're going to be uncovering in today's episode. Ultimately, clean photos that look pristine can present the product, but they don't create the desire. The desire ultimately comes from how that product is portrayed and in which scenario it's shown. And this is the first mistake. It's focusing on the product alone and treating the product in a sort of echo chamber, almost like it's this pristine, singular item that you're presenting, as opposed to understanding your product as part of a larger understanding of your customers' lifestyles, their needs, their desires, their wants. A customer is looking at a product and they're not just making a decision on that product in and of itself. What they're asking is, where does this product belong in my life? Does this product belong for training? Does it belong for running? Does it belong for travel? Does it belong for fashion? Who am I and what am I saying about myself when I wear this product? This is ultimately something that a photo doesn't answer if it takes a very sterile and static approach to how it's presenting itself. If you don't build the world around the product, then you cannot sell the brand. Because what distinguishes Nike from a brand like Bandit Running is not just both brands offer running sportswear. Bandit Running has a more cult-like approach. It has a more close-knit community, and that comes across in its product. It's a reason why brands like Bandit Running, although much smaller in market cap than their larger giants, have higher profit margins and ultimately have higher year-on-year growth because of the way they portray their products from the get-go. Lululemon, again, is a great example of this. Not only will they show you the product, but they'll also portray the product in a variety of different scenarios, whether it's yoga, whether it's Pilates, that lets the customer live in that dream world that they built and allows them to see themselves in the end product. So the lesson here is simple. Before you shoot your product, you shouldn't just ask yourself, how can I make this product look as clean as possible? More so, you can ask yourself, what situation is it worth delivering or showcasing my product in that makes the customers feel like they want to be a part of that world? Number two is that sportswear products specifically should also show movement, not only fit. And that can be very difficult in static imagery, where you have those like head-on front and back shots. What you want is product that moves, and you want to be able to see that that product can move and can move with you freely. Because if a product is portrayed in a very neutral standing position, but the second that you perform a lunge or you do some sort of Olympic lift or you go for a run, you get gathering and bunching up in areas that are super unflattering. This is where the problems can lie. And that's where there's a lack of trust between you and your customer. So my recommendation would be to actively showcase your product in the desired scenario that you plan it to be in. If you have a running short, make sure to show it in lunging and running in dynamic poses. If you have some form of legging that's geared towards yoga or Pilates, put it into those scenarios. Even if you're using general studio photography across a blank canvas or background, you want to put the product into the movements that actually correlate with the end use of that product in some subtle way. Whether that's a subtle lunge, whether that's a stretch, whether that is a pose if you're more of a gym wear focused brand. Those elements showcase how your product performs in those scenarios. You need to make sure that you never leave this up to guesswork. When you're shooting as a startup brand, what you want to do is definitely have a walking shot or some form of movement shot. You want to have a stretch shot. You want to have some sort of squat or a semi-squat shot. You want to have an arms raised shot. You want to have a single angle and motion shot, which could essentially mean just having some form of movement within a specific direction. You could have a real use case scenario shot that puts your product, even in a studio setting, into a real world, whether it's a wall ball or whether it's lifting a kettlebell. All of those things put the user into the actual scenario that shows them this product actually works when worn. Number 3 is that desire is ultimately built by showing the customer not what they become visually in your product, but who they become when they wear the product. Clean photos do one thing. They show the product and they can allow the customer to imagine themselves in the product. But photos that drive more of that community, more of that identity, show the customers who they become in the product. If there's someone who identifies with feeling stronger, with wanting to be sharper, more athletic, move faster, more dynamic, when they're able to see the product in those scenarios, they end up imagining themselves in that lifestyle and who they want to become. If the image doesn't communicate that, it can lack emotional depth. And if you don't get customers hooked emotionally to your product and what you're building, this is where disconnects happen. Alo does a great job of this, especially being very tailored towards a active and lifestyle build. They actively showcase their products with people on the move, in motion, doing Pilates, living the lifestyle. Ultimately, the customer needs to see more than just the garment. What they need to see is a version of life that they can actually experience when they're wearing the garment. We don't want to use words like premium or cool that are ultimately vague and difficult to pin down. You want to use specific identifiers in your wording and in your photography that allows customers to see themselves in it. So this could be something along the lines of, this is for the woman who wants studio to street pieces that feel polished after Pilates, right? You're identifying the customer, you're giving her the end use of what she wants for the product, which is Pilates, and you're identifying how the product should be performing. Number 4 is that product photos should have a visual hierarchy. They shouldn't just operate as a random, standardized gallery. A lot of brands shoot images, but they ultimately do not build a sequence. And images without a sequence is like a story without a clear content structure. Yes, you're writing the story, but the customer or the reader can't follow along. Ultimately, your gallery needs hierarchy. The first image should create a want. It should be aspirational. This is why if you look at the majority of brands, some of their first images tend to be non-standard studio shots. They tend to be either lifestyle shots or they tend to be studio shots with an action pose to it. The second image should essentially remove the doubt. So if we create a product that showcases an active lifestyle, maybe it's a running product, what you want to know is how that product actually works. If you see someone running in the city in the early morning hours as the first product photo, the second, third, fourth, and fifth images should showcase the product from different angles so you can see where it hits, how it fits, where the pockets are, the details. Ultimately, the detail images should confirm the value that you're building through the story you tell from the first image. If all of your images are the same type of image, not only does it become monotonous, but you risk putting and leaving money on the table. Because if you're shooting photos in a very standardized way, how are you able to distinguish between different product categories? How are you able to show that this product is for dynamic lifting, this product is for recovery, this product is for stretching, if you're not able to showcase your product in those motions? At that point, you're relying on the goodwill of the customer and the effort of the customer to read between the lines. If you make it difficult for them to understand how that product fits into their lifestyle, they won't make the effort. Number 5 is that ultimately clean and pristine photos will fail for a fact if the styling and the model do not match the intended product promise. This is a big one because you could have the greatest product in the world, but if the styling feels off, the photo is weakened because of the product. If you're selling serious performance gear, yet the model that you've picked doesn't match that identity and that aesthetic, that disconnect there throws customers off. If you're selling premium lifestyle activewear, but the styling feels random and unintentional and tasteless, the product loses value, not because of the product itself, but because of the way that it's portrayed. The model, the styling, the environment, the lighting, the poses are not decoration. They're not just simple things to randomly generate and put together. They are the evidence that the customer is looking for, that the product performs the way that they want it to perform. They tell the customer, they tell it who is wearing the product. They tell the customer this is where the product belongs, and they show the customer how seriously the brand understands its own products. And the downside of getting this wrong is not that the customers are going to hate the product itself, is that they're just simply not going to feel pulled towards it because they don't understand what the product's intentions are. They think to themselves, this looks nice, but I don't need this in my life. They think to themselves, that looks cool, but they won't think I'll look cool. Because that disconnect is the difference between them seeing the product and them seeing themselves in the product. Ultimately, as a startup brand, what you need is a clear path. What you need to build is a desire shoot first, not just a clean and pristine shoot. So what does this mean? Ultimately, if we want to solve this properly, we want to use a simple process before any shoot. First, we want to define what the product promise is, which you should know as the brand behind the product. What is this product defined and destined to make the customer feel and do? These are not just high quality leggings. We need something sharper. We need something more intentional. Perhaps we say these are clean compression leggings for women who want support without looking over designed or calling too much attention to themselves. Or these are lightweight running shorts that look sharp before, during, and after your run. All of those intentional promises allow us to craft the world around the product through our photos that sell the idea. Second, we need to define the customer situation. Where does this product live? Does it live on the gym floor? Does it live in the recovery room? Does it live in the Pilates studio? Is it a post-workout coffee kind of situation? Is it for everyday wear? Once we define that, we need to build the shot list around those two elements. We have the desire shoot, which is that first shoot that builds the story and the desire. We have the fit proof, we have the movement proof, and we have the detail proof. We then have the lifestyle context, and we have the real use, real world, unedited proof, which can sometimes be UGC. Then we choose the model and the styling based on the customer, not simply just who photographs well. We've all seen those brands that use that very pristine looking model who on paper is very attractive, but ultimately they don't represent the actual ethos of the brand. And that disconnect there really throws customers off the story that you're trying to tell. Fifth, you need to shoot and you need something that's both polished but also real. People can understand and see when something is overly polished, and that throws them off immediately. Sixth, you need to review your gallery, the final set of photos, with one question. Does this product make my collection feel more wanted or just more visible? And then when the product photos look clean, but do not create desire, the issue is usually not the camera. It's who's shooting the photos, what story you're telling. So if you guys want to learn how to build a collection and understand deep down what your mission is for that collection, so that way when you go to shoot it, you can craft a story that helps you stand out from the crowd, and you can overcome this issue of boring old pristine photos that look so static and so boring, then you can check the link in the description to apply to work with us one-on-one, and we'll show you how to go from an idea, a rough idea, into a physical sample of your perfect product in under 30 days. And we will literally get back to you within 5 to 10 minutes of your inquiry. Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please consider smashing a massive thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, please feel free to do so. It really helps us out. It keeps us motivated to keep pumping out this content for you. And I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fit Design TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.